Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and this is my Back to Beauty No Buy Year. Today I'm using my makeup to bring to you a 3 looks 1 palette with the Certifeye Affinity 2 palette. You would have seen on Monday my first impressions and swatches with this palette. I did create a look and it was a halo eye, which is a rarity on my channel, so I will link that up in the cards in case you missed it so you can go check it out. But today I'm bringing to you 3 looks with 1 palette. The first look is a palette bingo, and the last look is the one that you're enjoying in this moment, and it is my very first cut crease. So let's go ahead and get into those looks, and I will see you at the end for my review. Hi guys, welcome to look 1 with the Certifeye Affinity 2 palette. Totally stoked. I thought it would be fun today to do a little palette bingo for the first look, and so I kind of did my go-to random number generator, which is Angela. But also her hubby Steve chimed in, so he picked the numbers 2 and 15, and Angela picked number 9, 13, and 17. So 5 numbers, and these are the colors. So the first shade that I'm going to go into is this one right here, and it's a beautiful, what would I call it? It's this shade right here. Maybe a grassy green. I'm gonna start by packing this on the inner part of the crease. Second shade which is this one right here. So I'm gonna work that in the outer part of my crease. Alright, so I do think I'm going to add this lightest blue shade. I think this is going to help blend out both shades really nicely. Cross your fingers. I'm going to go into this shade right here, which is this shade right here.
Sponsor me.
But I'm going to go in with some NYX glitter glue all over the inner 2/3 of my lid. So now I'm going to go in with my finger into this beautiful duochrome that's down here on the bottom. I'll put that on like the outer part of the lid. Love it. Alright, so for the inner part of the lid, we're going to use number 15? Yes. And that is this shimmer shade right here. Beautiful green shimmer. I think, honestly, I will mimic what I did on top here, where I will line with the green and the blue down here, and then I'll go back over top with the coordinating shimmers. So I'm gonna go back into this blue right here. Blue, green. Same brush, going to go back into number 2, this blue right here. I'm going to go in and smudge the coordinating shimmers under. So we're going to start with the green, since it's the lighter of the two. Same brush, going back into this shade right here. Really load up the brush, small tap, work it around the tear duct. And then back into the shade for the outer part of the lash line. Yes, that is the technical term. And then one more shade to add because I want to. I'm going to use this light shade down, the lightest shade in the palette. Same brush, just wiping it off here. And that has got to be my inner corner highlight. Must. But just a pinch. Just a whisper. See? Alrighty then. I think this is the look finished. It will look slightly different when I come back because I am going to do some extra blending. So I'm going to jump off of here, do a little bit of blending, eyeliner and mascara, and then we will come back for lips. Alright, party people! I finished off the eye with a gray liner on the tight line and a nude liner on the waterline. And then lashes, I'd use the Milani highly rated mascara that I'm trying out. This was a sample from Target and so far so good. I also had a really hard time picking a lip for today. I don't know what my problem is, but I'm going to use like a combo of these two colors and then my brown sugar lip liner from Jean Tabou. And I'm going to speed through it because I imagine it's kind of boring to watch me put lipstick on. I realize it's not the 90s. I like a good ombre lip though, so I'm going to go in with the darker of the two shades around the perimeter of my mouth and like in the crevices and then go in with the lighter one. So there's that shade. Look how juicy my bottom lip looks. Does it look ombre? It's hard to say. Look at this little gem right here though. Ooh. All right, so here is the finished look. I love how this turned out, if I'm being honest. I'm so glad that I had the help of a palette bingo to sort of just get bold and have to figure out how to use these very bold colors from a very bold palette. I love colors like this, but sometimes when I look at something like this, I'm like, deer in the headlights. Don't know what to do. So I want to encourage you, if you have a palette like this that's kind of stumping you or intimidating you, just try picking 4 or 5 random numbers, whatever you're comfortable with. Anyhow, I love how this turned out. Thank you to Angela and Steve for choosing my colors for me, and I will see you in day 2 for look 2. Hi guys, and welcome to look 2. I think I'm going to go for a blue look today, but I also want to dabble into the one purple that's in the palette. So let's get into it. I'm going to go into this purple shade right here first in my crease. Purple is never my favorite shade of eyeshadow to wear, but I did think that this was a beautiful shade and a beautiful addition to the palette. I'm going to go to the first shade in the palette right here, and I'm just going to blend out the edges of what I'm calling the purple and also put it in the front part of the crease here. This shade, I noticed that I'm having to sort of pack on the color. That is probably because I set my eyeshadow base from crease to brow today. So if I had that to do again, I probably wouldn't do it like that. I'm gonna go back into our purple shade and just deepen it up in the crease just a little bit. All right, next I'm gonna go ahead and put on some NYX glitter glue all over my lid. I've been loving this lately in terms of punching up the opacity and the shine of my shimmer shades, so I'm going to do it again today. Alright, so on the outer third of my lid, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which I know is called Navigate. And then for the inner 2/3 of the lid, I'm going to go into this shade right here, a beautiful sky blue shimmer, I would call it. On the lower lash line, I'm going to start by lining the lash line with this blue right here. Alright, I'm going to take a little dense brush and pack just a little bit of that same shade on the outer V of the lid, just so we have a connection, as well as a little depth and interest. And also smudge underneath. And then going back into the first shade, I'm going to really smudge out that lower lash line. Alright, and then I feel like I lost some of the purple up here, so I'm going to take this flat pinched brush, a little bit fluffy, go back in the purple, and just work a little bit more of this back in the crease. Alright, and then for the inner corner, no surprise here, I'm going to go into this light duochrome down here. I'll probably honestly use this for an inner corner on most of these looks. Alright, I think that is the eyes done. I'm going to go do liner and mascara, and then we will come back for a lip. Alright, the eye look is finished. I used a gray eyeliner on the tight line, a nude liner on the waterline, and I finished off the look with the Milk Kush mascara. It's working a little better for me now. Might be one of those that performs better as it ages. So there's that. And for lips, as always, I kind of struggled with this one. I don't know what my deal with lips is lately, but I settled on the Marc Jacobs Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I'm going to first line my lips with the NYX Slide On Glide On lip liner in the shade Alluring. Lips are lined. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Looks like that. Not my favorite look combination, but here we are. This is the finished look. Overall, I really love this look. I will say that I did quite a bit of back and forth between the light blue, the purple, and things like that. The shimmers performed really beautifully, as have all of the other shimmers. I think this purple will read either purple or periwinkle, depending on the other shades that you pair it with. This shade right here was an absolute joy. I really, really liked that color. So overall, I think today's look was a success, and I will see you in day 3 for... Hi guys, welcome to day 3 and look 3. I have 5 shades left that I have not used in this palette, so I'm going to attempt to use them all today, and I might attempt to cut crease as well. So I already suspect that this is going to be a rather long video, so I'm going to throw some music on for myself and for you. I'm gonna jam, hopefully you're going to jam, and let's just get through this look. Ta-da! This is the final look. All right, so I finished off this look with a gray eyeliner in both the tight line and the waterline, as well as the Milk Kush mascara, which gets a little better every day that I use it. And then for the lips, I lined my lips with the Essence lip liner in Satin Mauve, and then I couldn't do a 3 looks 1 palette with a blue and green palette without wearing my favorite lipstick from MAC. This is their Frost formula in the shade On and On, and it is a plummy base with a teal sparkle. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up, maybe in the close-ups. Either way, I had to wear it. What do we think of my very first cut crease? Definitely not perfect. For some reason, I had trouble when I put the concealer on the lash line and looked up. It really didn't transfer a lot. I think maybe I need to use more concealer in the future. Either way, I actually really love this look, and I did use the last 5 shades that I hadn't used in the palette. So let's go ahead and talk about this palette. Beautiful, beautiful packaging. On the back, it does have the names listed up here for you, which is really great because I'm going to tell you, as a lot of people have mentioned in their reviews, that because of this textured silver packaging, the names are really hard to read on the palette. It's fine, especially because the names are so hard to pronounce. It is what it is. This is a beautiful palette. The matte shades absolutely performed like a dream. Sometimes on my warmer skin tone, I have trouble blending out cooler shadows, and I didn't have that problem here. I felt like the blend was seamless every single time that I used the mattes. We do have 3 duochromes. This shade, and this shade are duochromes, and then you have a metallic blue and a metallic green. I feel like that's sufficient. As a girl who really uses shimmer as a crutch for a lot of my looks, I feel like these 5 shimmers are very sufficient for this palette. I'm glad that there's not more than that. I feel like I have everything I could need. Like I said, metallic blue, metallic green, but you also have a duochrome with a blue shift, as well as a duochrome with a green shift, and then you have this beautiful highlighting shade. If I had to make a few observations about this palette, and that doesn't necessarily mean that there are negative observations, but I do think this shade right here and this shade right here are relatively similar in shade. If they're very, very close in the tone, and so I don't know that they would necessarily translate very different on the eyes. Same with this shade right here and this shade right here. In fact, today's look, I actually started out to do a two-toned eye, and I was going to use these on one side and this on the other side, and when I started using these 2 shades, they just blend right into each other. It just turns into one shade. There's not really a fade, there's not really anything like that. So I will say that you have about 3 of them in here. So these 2 shades, these 2 shades, and these 2 shades are all very similar with each other. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think there could have been a little bit more variety. I do really love that they included this shade, which is very purple. On the eyes, it does lean a little bit more like periwinkle blue, but it does definitely have a purplish tone to it. So I thought that was a fun little unique shade in this palette. All of the shimmers perform beautifully. I didn't have any trouble. I didn't foil any of them until I did the cut crease today, and I did foil this one just to build it up a little bit, just to kind of hide the shade of the concealer, you know, which is skin toned. I do really love this olive shade. It's absolutely stunning. Other than that, I do really like this one down here. However, I found it interesting that this shade is actually quite a bit more sheer than I would have originally thought, and this one isn't. So overall, I love this palette. I'm so grateful that my husband realized just how important it was to me to have this palette all on his own and sent it to me for Mother's Day. I can't wait to continue making more looks with this palette. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the looks. I really enjoyed the first look where I did a palette bingo using this palette. And I just tried to do some different things in my first impressions and swatches. I did a halo eye. I did a bingo for the first look in this video. I tried cutting the crease in this look. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing something a little bit different from me. Even if it's not perfect, I think it's nice to branch out from my very set in stone kind of typical way that I do my eye looks. And I'm just very impressed with this palette. I would absolutely try more from this brand. Other than this palette from Certifeye, the only other indie brand that I have for eyeshadow in my collection is Juvia's Place. And so I would love to try more from this brand. I would love to try more from the sister company, and the name escapes me. I'll put it on the screen. But this is beautiful, well worth the money. I'm not going to discuss the details of this palette other than it does have 18 shades, but I will link the palette down below in the description box so that if you're curious or if you're interested in purchasing the palette, you can get all of the information right there. And on that note, please let me know if there are any other videos that you would like to see featuring this palette. I'd be happy to film them for you. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely stunning blue and green makeup days. And I will see you in my next video soon.